Uganda's strategic position in the East African region has paved way for concern over appropriate means to enforce free flow of logistics as a land-linked country. Serving as a distribution and logistics hub for neighboring countries, supply chain disruptions are among the inevitables. But the International Federation of Freight Forwarders Association, of which Uganda is a member, believes the convention is a golden opportunity for Uganda to benchmark best practices for more investment opportunities in the industry.
From Africa and Middle East countries, and we are happy to facilitate the cooperation on regional level, since this is the way, coming from the global level to be introduced to the regional level and to try to use the best practices all over the world. So to say, this is the very modern way to deal with our profession, to deal with advocacy of our profession to the governmental and non-governmental international level.
And we are very much honored to be hosting this conference on behalf of our principals who are theater. We have just started. The conference will take 3 days, first start, and during the process we have a number of topics that we are going to discuss, moving around freight, transport, logistics, and all that goes with it.
According to Kenya Ports Authority, Uganda is the second largest dependent on Mombasa Port, holding 24% market share. Kenyan President Ruto discussed a raft of measures to be implemented immediately and improve cargo handling through the Port Mombasa to the hinterland. Among them is the removal of weigh bridges and roadblocks for transit cargo. The Ministry of Works and Transport confirms that these are yet to materialize. However, freight expert Charles Kareba suggests a maritime agency like Kenya and Tanzania could help Uganda handle these bureaucratic challenges more effectively.
You're welcome to come in, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that really relevant? Then the other things like what we used to the issue of roadblocks on the corridor, on the route, illegal road. I would call them illegal because they were not correcting any charges for government. Yeah. So like President Ruto said, why do we have these roadblocks? Because when somebody is transporting, he puts that he factors that in that I'm going to pay bribe on the roadblock. So he will put it to you, the owner of the container. So that increases the transport cost. Now, the issue of like on the railway transport, we are saying, can we also look at reducing maybe the tariffs so that we have more cargo on rail than on road? Yeah, these are some of the discussions we are having.
They charge the owner of the cargo what they call vessel delay surcharge. Are you responsible for their not being able to enter the port? No, but they charge you $100 per container because they cannot enter the port in the number of days they expected to. So those are unnecessary, and because we don't have a maritime agency as Uganda, those are the things that are dealt with by the Kenya Maritime Agency and the equivalent, I think, is Sumatra in Tanzania, which deals. Those are the sort of charges they will tell you, either you stop them or you don't come here.
Discussions are ongoing to consider Djibouti Ports Authority as an alternative route. However, stakeholders such as Charles are doubtful of the idea, citing infrastructure limits to support that corridor.
Kenya, through Uganda, through South Sudan, through Ethiopia, because once we connect to Ethiopia, then we can link to the Djibouti port. Because already you know that Ethiopia is connected to the Djibouti port by train, by rail. So if we can have that connection made, there is actually a trans-road plan to have us connected through Djibouti port. Reason being is that we need to play also to have diversity of entry points, other than depending on one or two. If you have a problem in that one, then you are locked out.
There's also SGR rehabilitated the meter gauge area to answer and onto our ferries across to Mombasa port, which is under construction. So all those are definitely going to be game changers, and they are going to facilitate faster we can do, and mostly to be cheaper, because the two cheapest means of transport is by water, then by rail. So we have less trucks on the roads, less pollution, less traction, less carnage, less so many things that are caused by those trucks.
Uganda Road Fund, a key driver in the country's road infrastructure, manages significant road assets worth 35 trillion shillings, responsible for 95% of the country's goods traffic. Regarding multimodal infrastructure and integration, construction of the Bukasa port is underway and completion is destined to facilitate marine, rail and road transport.
We are already now contracting the company to do the surcharging and reclamation. Because after that, when that is done, then we shall start the construction, the phase 2.